Hey guys, this is the Villains the Man. I'm Evan the Great.
I'm Smiley.
Today we're bringing you another episode of Monsters Matter.
So it's been open up your Monster Manuals to page 83 as we start this adventure.
A group of adventurers have been in town, been to the local tavern, and have noticed on the wall that there is an ancient ruin that has not been searched in many years. People say that there is a dragon that lairs there. And inside, treasures that would make you retire and not have to work the rest of your days. You and your four adventurers, you had a few years of going through stuff, training together. You think you're good enough. You can slay a dragon. You think so. So you get on your horses, you get all your gear, and you go to this ruin, deserted place, ash all over the ground, skeleton bones. Somewhere you probably shouldn't be. And
How all great adventures start.
the wind is picking up and it's just blowing all this ash and dust places. And as you make your way through the piles of bones, you enter into this cave like on the side. As your adventurers, they enter in, it's very strange. You don't hear any noises, you don't see anything. It looks like somebody may have already been in here and left. Maybe it's old. As you travel down the caves and you do your typical searching for traps, looking for things on the wall, it's very eerie feeling as you peer around the corner into a large room full of treasure. If you look around, you don't notice anything. So your party sneaks up on the treasure and they start taking it for themselves. As you get you a couple bagfuls of gold, it looks like there's like a bone structure you're looking at. And as the party starts pushing the gold back, you see a large dragon skull. The party is really freaking out at this point because why would they bury the gold on top of the dragon? And that is where we're going to talk about the Dracolich.
Oh, Dracolich, how well I know thee. Been in the game since first edition of it, Advanced Dungeons and Dragons, devised by Ed Greenwood himself. This Draconic Lich has a very simple history and lore, but is one of the most iconic figures, in my opinion, of all of Faerun. A giant skeletal creature, undying and immortal. I prefer in the older games, they just needed a reptilian body for the soul to pass on to, because unlike a normal lich, they don't regenerate their bodies; they just possess new ones. Before, I don't know about 4th edition because I didn't play it, but before 5th edition, any reptilian body would suffice. In 5th edition, it simply says dragon body.
Yep.
Before, they prefer dragon bodies because they are prideful. Now, a Dracolich is not like your normal lich. The phylactery does not require souls to maintain it. It is something else entirely. It's just, in essence, it functions similar to a lich. First devised by Samister, which I may be getting the name wrong, the Mad, the founder of the Cult of the Dragon, and fallen chosen of Mistra. I feel the Dracolich is one of the most iconic, frightening things in the game.
It should be.
It should. What's unfortunately in 5e is woefully underrepresented, in my opinion. It's now just a simple template.
It is. It should be more than a template. Because when players usually start off in games, at the earlier levels, they encounter things like undead. And they kind of push their way through and learn what they can do. And then as a later adventurer, you want to hunt down dragons. But then you return back to where you first started, which is an undead dragon.
Yeah. Like on full circle.
Yeah.
The template itself, in my opinion, is very depressing.
It is.
All things considering, they just get damage resistance, damage immunities. Like suitable for an undead, they get necrotic resistance, poison immunity. They get a few condition immunities appropriate. But they do get magic resistance, which is a big fucking deal. advantage on any saving throws against spells or effects. But other than that, that's all there is to them.
Yeah, they're basically a dragon with the undead mechanics / magic immunity, kind of.
Resistance, but yeah.
Yeah, resistance, I mean. And as far, I don't know, man, like, most of the picture and the artwork in the monster manuals, they give you a representation of what a Dracolich is. And I'm not going to lie, I'm looking at this artwork beside the Dracolich template. It don't scare me enough.
I like it, but it's more of a thematicism.
Yeah, but it ain't.
It's the skeleton.
Yeah.
I feel it fits more along the lines of a skeleton dragon.
Yeah, it's like a skeleton.
Dracolich.
And it should have more magic in its eyes. Because there ain't none of that when I look at this.
Yeah. I like my idea of a Dracolich is like rotted, slawing off flesh.
Yeah.
With magic burning out of its empty sockets.
Agreed.
But in this picture, I also can't get the blue dragon's horn out of my head because the blue dragon's horn usually points forward, kind of, where this one points straight the fuck up like a dunce hat, and that's all I think of wherever I see it. And that's all you're going to think of when you see it.
That is.
But like I said, the Dracolich itself is one of my favorite creatures. It starts on page 83. Its stat blocks on page 84. Mm-hmm. And it gives you the stats for the adult blue Dracolich. If you're going to use one, it has to be legendary. Slap that legendary shit wherever you want on it. It has to be legendary.
Yep. You're not doing it right if you let your actions die. And no matter where they're at, they're getting to use all their actions. Rightful presence being a big one. They're still a dragon in essence in 5e.
No matter what body they get, if you want to do the 3.5 method of just putting them in different lizard bodies as necessary, because originally their phylactery, which is a gem, there's this one book involving Jarlax where it was a crystal dragon skull, which was fucking awesome. But in the old games, the spirit would go into it, then it would fly out to a new body when it was close enough. So their lairs would be just littered with draconic and reptilian corpses everywhere. But with the way it is now, you have to take it to the gym and someone has to press it up against a new body so they can't hide their phylactery like that. And they're required to have servants, which a Dracolich should have servants. They amass servants seeking greed and power and all that wonderful stuff.
And on top of being a undead skeleton and having the things of a dragon, really, like we talked about a little bit, the only thing I think they've actually added besides those two traits, maybe I'm wrong, is the magic resistance. And it feels like that ain't enough to me.
Yeah.
They're a CR 17.
In all honesty, I believe the idea of pressing the gem, physically having to touch the gem to a body, is what like puts me in a dour mood about it, to be honest.
Yeah.
Because before, I remember in the old Neverwinter Nights game, in the Hordes of the Underdark expansion, you fight a Dracolich, and the entire time his soul goes to the phylactery and then flies back out to a new body. You have to keep fighting it over and over again. It is a long and hard fight.
Besides that, they have their abilities. They got some dark vision, blind sight. I mean, everything a dragon would have. They would know you're there.
Now, the creation of a Dracolich begets a organization around them to begin with, so that's something you can play around with.
Yeah, go ahead.
Oh, you first, man.
I was gonna say, like all our creatures that we talk about on here, they can always be altered, and that's where the fun will kind of creep in. When you're building your own Dracolich, alter it, make it a little bit.
Honestly,
different.
I would just make it where its gem doesn't need to touch somebody. So you have, at the very least, a reoccurring villain have possessed the body of a lizard folk general that had been recently killed off in battle, come back and lead this whole tribe under the reins of a new king. Did we ever touch lizard folk? We used to do them sometime.
I've never thought about this until...
Because the idea of a king is very foreign to lizard folk.
Speaking of that, lizard folk, the king, the Dracolich, and getting into its lizard folk body, what if its whole purpose was to build up this whole army and tell them that their goal is once they mow enough things down, that he will sacrifice himself to bring their god to life. And actually,
that is actually a really good fucking idea.
That's cool. I thought about it on the spot.
To create a Dracolich, it takes a cult of mages. It takes a group of mages or a cult that worships the idea of it, and they go through various rituals and preparations. And the dragon has to be willing to do this. It has to be a willing creature and participant in this event. So you're not going to have a gold dragon that was forced to do it.
Yeah.
It has to be willing. Sickness. But the Dracolich, or at this point in time, the dragon drinks a poison that immediately kills it, and the coat grabs its soul as it tries to leave the body and siphons it into the crystal phylactery. So you have to have a cult with it that's it either worships it or worships something attached to it. Now in Faerun, we had the cult of the dragon, was the original incarnation, is what actually led about the creation of the first Dracolich. And their idea was they were very much a doomsday cult. Mm-hmm. They thought they were preparing the world for a coming apocalypse, which is a really nice idea. But you could have a Dracolich that is a spellcaster, that is body hopping, like Evan said, and like trying to build up this war, saying that he will sacrifice himself to bring back their god, or bring them a god, and like they could be raising forces to fight like this gold dragon.
Yeah. And
the idea is that they'll slay the gold dragon, and when he kills himself, his soul will go into the gold dragon, and it'll come back as this decrepit god of tarnished gold. Oh my god.
Use the forces of good to get your ultimate body.
What the thing is, though, it'll keep its original breath weapon and everything else.
Yeah.
And that's really fucking awesome. Have a gold dragon with, like it says, the blue Dracolich, firing bolts of lightning instead of flame. But make, like, flavored as, like, sickly pale green lightning. That's amazing.
You fools.
You fools.
Anything else you want to kind of cover?
Is there anything you want to cover?
Not really.
I did a lot of talking this episode.
You did most of the talk. Because basically, I mean, they're cool. It's something we needed to cover. And they're a little bit of a twist on your typical undead or dragon. Yeah. You kind of get, like we talked about, around the circle. It'd be good to start your campaign out fighting undead. And then to find out at the end, you get to fight a Dracolich after you fight dragons in the middle. That'd be kind of cool. But besides that, they're just your typical...
We fought one in the Ancient War Reborn.
Yeah, we fought one.
A big white one. I hope he makes a reappearance because we didn't deal with a phylactery or anything. His soul was still floating around there.
And that was a scary encounter, I think, for us. And then
the first time we ran the fuck away.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
The second time, we were like, we got this. But that's the difference between Riker and Ord. Ord's like, fuck you guys, I'm out. I mean, Riker's, fuck you guys, I'm out. Ord, fuck yeah.
But like you said, just use different templates, man. Play with it. This could be a very...
Honestly, I would just get a spellcasting. That'll make me happy.
Yeah, for sure.
Like innate spellcasting. Yeah. Like animate dead and stuff like that.
Yeah, so just play around with it. Use, like he said, add spellcasting. Add different templates. Have it jump around. There's several different things you do with it. Just dig in there. Use its lore and be clever. I think that's about it for me.
I think that's about it for me too.
Close us out.
You stand there. 3 men down and 2 left standing. The skeletal remains scattered about the room. You think your reprieve is over. You gather you and your remaining comrade together. Look at your fallen allies and begin to gather the gold with a solemn heart, wishing you never came. but happy to be rid. But the cave begins to churn. You feel something coming. Rising up from beneath the pile, a second desiccated, rotting form of a dragon, the flesh sloughing off as it roars with laughter, as if this was merely a playing a game.